Hi, cat students. I hope you guys are doing well and that you are in the finest of your preparation stage. Now, I have come again picking up 30 idioms as promised, something that we've been doing for a couple of days now. And today, what I've picked up is one of the most roaring issues. It is a humanitarian crisis that seems to be happening. And of course, I can say that without an ounce of doubt that everybody must be following these very closely. So today are going to be a set of idioms that you would have definitely heard. You would have known the context of it also, but since it is vocabulary, one does not really tend to be paying a lot of attention to it. So today I come with the topic that everybody needs, and I'm sure in their hearts want a war to stop, and that is Israel-Palestine conflict. We've all been reading the newspaper, we've been seeing how bad the scenario, how terrible the scenario has been getting, and that there seems to be no light at the end of the tunnel altogether. But amidst all of this, let's try to at least enhance the vocabulary a little bit by engaging with the most talked about idioms that were used in headlines, that were used by the media coverage, that were used by the ministers and in their speeches addressing the scenario altogether. So with that, let us begin with the topic that is Israel-Palestine conflict. Now, what are we going to be doing today? Of course, we're going to be capturing 30 idioms that have made the most noise around the Israel-Palestine conflict that we have. And like I like to say, where words collide as much as weapons. So today we are going to understand, we are going to know what the layout of the entire situation is, but using the idioms at hand. Without any further ado, let us begin. Starting with the first, boiling point. Now, boiling point by default becomes the peak of attention or a crisis. So it's the last point till where you can probably tolerate. Anything after that is just going to be out of your control. So the situation in Gaza has reached a boiling point. Ceasefire holding by a thread. So ceasefire basically means cease means to stop. So stopping the fire, but it is holding by the thread. A thread is so thin, which means the situation is very fragile and that peace might not really sustain. So the ceasefire is holding by a thread amidst new skirmishes. Cycle of violence. So cycle is always shown to be denoting the recurrence. So a recurring pattern of aggression is what becomes the cycle of violence. So the region is stuck in a deadly cycle of violence. Power keg, a volatile situation ready to explode. So keg basically means the one place where there is concentration of power, and assisted with the word power, it becomes anything wherein a very volatile situation wherein it might just explode and things might turn untoward. So the West Bank is a power keg awaiting to blow. The West is just waiting to see how things are. Line in the sand, it means a non-negotiable boundary. So it's literally, you've done it on the soil. That's how it is. So it's been taken that we've divided it, and now this is a boundary that is not going to be put up for any further negotiation. So each side has drawn its line in the sand. Crossing the red line means violating a clear limit. So red line is always used to beware. So the moment you cross the red line, it means you have crossed that one limit that you were clearly not supposed to. So the airstrikes were seen as crossing a red line. So they went above the mark that was a tolerable mark. Call for calm, it means a plea to reduce tensions. So whenever you're calling for the calms, it simply means you're requesting that, we need to cease fire, we need to get back to the status quo that was originally there. So the UN leaders issued a call for calm after shelling intensified. So when there was a lot of bombardment that was happening, the UN finally said that we need to call for the calm. War of words, of course there's war, but over here we are being verbose about it. We're being verbally into the act of war. So war of words become a heated verbal confrontation. So leaders engaged in war of words before the truce talk. So truce means to be able to reconcile, to be able to declare peace. But of course, before that, there's always a lot of heated argument that one has. Tip of the iceberg. Now, we've been doing this on and off quite a lot in the idiomatic series. So clearly means something that is a lot of import that carries a lot of importance, and that is a surface with a deeper problem. So something that you just see, but of course there is more that lies beneath. So missile acts are just the tip of the iceberg. So all of these missile dropping that is happening, this is just the tip of the iceberg, which means there's a deeper issue that remains. Caught in the crossfire, which means innocents harmed during the conflict. So somebody who's caught in the crossfire. So crossfire is both sides into fire, and anybody who's caught in the line of fire simply means all of the innocents that are harmed. So dozens of children were caught in the crossfire. Ground zero becomes the epicenter of conflict. Anything with zero is the start, which is why during COVID also we had zero patient. We had ground zero, which means this is where it all initiated. So it becomes the epicenter, the main focus of conflict. So Gaza became ground zero after the raids. Put out feelers. It simply means to explore options for peace. So you're putting out feelers, right? So you're putting it out, that is to be able to give it out, that is being able to extend. And you're putting out feelers, which means you're trying to be exploring what are the ways in which we can probably commit to peace. So mediators put out feelers to revive negotiations. Tinderbox situation. Of course, this is not the Tinder that we know, but tinderbox situation basically means highly flammable conflict. So something that will just turn into a violent, massacre or a violent incident altogether is what becomes a tinderbox situation. So the area is a tinderbox situation ready to ignite. So any moment there can be any sort of mood bursting. Test the waters, it means to take tentative steps. So whenever you're testing the waters, it means you're trying to be understanding what exactly are going to be the prospective steps that you're going to be taking. So both parties tested the water with informal talks. So they tried. But then, of course, there was no resolution they could reach onto, so they had no option but to obviously surrender altogether. Strike a chord, it means to evoke very strong emotions. So when you're trying to strike a chord, it means you're trying to get some rapport, you're trying to get some sort of comradeship. If it's not happening, clearly it's not happening. So images from Gaza struck a chord globally, so they were able to connect with the globe that ways. Playing with fire means you're taking reckless risk. It's fire. It's not your friend. But if you're playing with fire, which means you're, of course, inviting trouble for yourself. So getting into some sort of reckless risk. Escalating the offense is playing with fire. The more you escalate the offense, it's more into, you playing with fire. Hardline stance, it means strict, non-compromising position. So if you are in a hard line stance, it means, of course, it has to be a non-compromising situation. You are not going to bend even a slight bit. So both governments took a hard line stance. They're very concrete, they're very firm on their decisions, and they do not want to at all budge from their stances. In the line of fire, it means at risk. So you are in the line of fire, which means there is agitation coming both sides, and you come in the line of it. The hospitals remain in the line of fire. Next, a burning issue means an intense debate. So it's something which is burning, which means the controversy is still growing there. So Jerusalem continues to be the burning issue. It becomes the very bone of contention. Standoff means an impasse or a deadlock, which means you cannot do anything after that, or you cannot go beyond it. It's a dead-end sort of situation. So the latest talks ended in a tense standoff. So both of these guys are just standing. Nobody is moving at all. So it seems to be futile activity altogether. Dead on arrival means doomed from the very start. So something that is dead on arrival means that from the very beginning, there has been, nothing that we could do to salvage the situation. So a peace proposal was dead on arrival. So they knew that the situation was so bad. It had, become so irreparable that, of course, no peace talks could have in any way saved the day. Out of the woods mean to escape danger. So when you're out of the woods, it means there is no more. So jungle and forests are supposed to be dangerous situations. So when you're out of the woods, it simply means you are out of the danger line that is there. So even with the ceasefire, they are not out of the woods, which means there can be still some unprecedented bomb drop that can happen anytime. Draw battle lines, which means define the opposing sides. Both groups drew battle lines on security policy. So they went about by defining what the opposing sides are supposed to be. Under siege means to be constantly attacked. Siege means to be attacked. So northern towns were under siege again. So one time and again, if you keep getting under the shelling, you get under siege, constant siege. The gloves are off. So gloves are generally worn whenever you're trying to hide something, but then if the gloves are off, it means no pretense of diplomacy. We are now being true, raw, unfiltered, and this is what it is. So no manipulation, no deception whatsoever. With fresh air raids, the gloves are off. No man's land, it means a disputed danger zone. So no man's land means no man is allowed to claim that land. So it becomes a disputed danger zone because the moment somebody tries to claim, of course, the person is going to have a good, a good retaliation from the other side. So journalists were caught in the no man's land. Collateral damage, it means unintended casualty. So collateral damage means you don't intend to do it, but if you're doing it, it will happen onto the other side as well. So it's like a collateral to the damage that has happened. So civilians became collateral damage in the airstrike, while of course the war was between the governments, but of course the life of the civilians is also at stake. So it becomes a collateral damage. Draw fire, it means attract, attack, or criticism. So you're drawing fire, which means you're attracting it, which means you're inviting trouble to yourself. So the military drew fire from all directions. Peace on the knife edge, it means it's a very fragile piece. So there is peace, but it is on the edge of the knife. I mean, the edge of the knife, of course, everybody knows. I mean, you can be slaughtered anytime. So it is that fragile. So any wrong move could break the peace on the knife's edge. Open old wounds. So you're opening, but then old wounds, which means there have been disagreements or there have been, fallouts previously, and that they have again resurfaced. So ignite past trauma. The clashes opened old wounds from decades past. So all things that happened in the past, they were what had been taken up. And with that, voila, we come to an end to the 30 idioms that we have. How cool was it? How quick was it? And like I said, if you just conjoin all of the idioms that we just did, you will actually have a backdrop of how the situation seems to be in Israel, Gaza. Next time you're reading, you come across any of these idioms, you will know a much better understanding, and definitely what the comprehension is trying to say, because now you've enriched yourself with all of those idioms at hand. So, like we always say, words are weapons. And when diplomacy stalls and the war flares, idioms tell the story of grit, gridlock, and grief. We were trying to make an attempt to understand the idioms, but of course, our heart goes out to all the all the humanitarian crises, all the inhuman things that seem to be happening. And let's hope, fingers crossed, there is peace very soon. That was it from my side. You know the drill. If you like the video, hit the like button. Share it with other like-minded friends who are also preparing for CAT and would like this twist on vocabulary, a more zingy, a more interactive, a more choppy way to know what vocabulary and idioms are all about. Write in the comment box if you like this video or if there's anything that you specifically want me to make, and I'll come around with a video with that. Until next time, everybody, keep reading, keep comprehending, keep jotting down the idioms, because there is no other way to master vocabulary than just familiarizing yourself. Thank you so much. Until next time, everybody.